All right, so welcome again. If you're watching from a replay, not live, you are watching the virtual Awana Club's Q&A with John and Michelle. Okay, so we're going to start with a couple of questions that people have asked is like, how's it going this year? And this question has not been asked by Awana families because obviously you're going through Awana, you know how it's going. This has really been asked by people outside of Awana and maybe even families who aren't joining this year and have joined. So we just wanted to give you an update and maybe that will give people some time to think of other questions. Yeah. So we're going to give you an update on how some of our clubs are going.
Yeah, so our cubbies been going pretty well. Debbie has, I think, 12 cubbies right now.
I think maybe 11, yeah.
And that has gone surprisingly well. We had a little bit of doubt that preschoolers could get onto Zoom for an hour and do Awana. She's done a fantastic job of keeping all the elements of the cubbies Awana, keeping our preschoolers' attention, and they're still learning God's word. It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it's Debbie and 3 other leaders, and they actually meet in the church building, and so
the leaders do.
The leaders do. Sorry, I know. Sorry to tease all of you. The leaders do, and we are allowing that because 3 of them are one family, so they're already in their bubble together, and Debbie is kind of an extended part of their family, and so they kind of bubble together in this COVID, and it's easier for us to help them with their technology and setting up with their computers and their Zoom. So they're doing great, and I know that Debbie sends out awards and goodies to all of those cubbies. So if you are a Cubbies family and you have any questions, just let us know. And Sparks and TNT.
Sparks and TNT, if you are part of them, you know you're doing Club on Zoom, and I think we had some hiccups or some things to work through at the beginning of the year. I think that's gone surprisingly well. We've done we've had fantastic response from our leaders preparing for Awana Zoom, and your clubbers have been great getting on there, keeping their attention with their leader, and we're still able to do a lesson on there. So that's gone pretty well. We start each night with our worship song. Usually, sometimes technology gets in the way of that, but we try to. We get a game in there, which hopefully you're not tired of your kids going and finding things around your house for a scavenger hunt. If you are, please comment, let us know. But we try to keep that as upbeat as possible. They get to spend 30 minutes with their leader, which has been great.
And the leaders love spending time with all of your kids in handbook time. It's kind of like their little quiet time with your kids, and I know that's one of their favorite parts.
It is. And then let's see, sorry, I have a script here. I just want to make sure that I hit everything.
I think that's it.
Going through their handbooks, all the kids are doing great, and they're get a short lesson. So we would have 30 minutes of a large group time. We have usually about 10 for this. So we've cut down our lessons a little bit, but I think we're still doing okay with that.
Yeah, and for Cubbies and Sparks and TNT to be on Zoom, and even in virtual learning world right now where they quite possibly are on a computer throughout the day, we have had probably 90% of the kids attend every week.
Yeah, very high.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So applaud to
all of you,
to all of you families, right? To make that commitment of logging in with your kids every week, and I know that people are praying. I mean, I am at the beginning of Sparks when technology doesn't work and Zoom isn't quite working correctly. And so God's been good. God's been good with that. So that, yeah, Sparks and TNT. And then you guys have been getting the Sparks TNT, your jewels and your patches. And we're trying to keep track of that. If your kid says, hey, I thought I was supposed to get a red jewel, like one of my Sparks said this week, and it happens. I totally forget. So just let us know. And And a lot of you families have been excellent at just keeping that communication open with us. And hey, I don't know what verse my kid is supposed to be on this week. And yeah, so we are all one family. And so just keep asking us questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so Trek and Journey, our middle school and high school, the only clubs that are meeting in person. We are going to address that. Just hold on.
Yep. So they're a small group of kids. We have about 12. They're teenagers or preteens, middle schooler and high schoolers that meet in our youth lodge. We have them distanced and masked, and we have some great leaders who take their temperatures. We greet them. All socially distant. They have an activity. They have a lesson, handbook time. They do a socially distant game. And then they get to serve or learn how to serve their church and their community. We have different service projects that we call Level Up going on that we teach them.
The middle school and high school is doing fantastic. They are following guidelines. They're not complaining, and the leaders also. And so we're very thankful for that we can still learn God's word in this time right now. Okay, so there's our kind
of state of the club right now.
That's right. That is where we are. That's how every club is doing. We didn't say how many leaders we have. We did with the Cubbies. So there's 4 leaders in Cubbies. There's 4 leaders in Sparks. There's 4 leaders in TNT. One of those leaders actually includes a high schooler, a senior, who is learning how to disciple. And he has chosen to be one of the leaders, which is amazing. He's not just a helper like what we would normally do if we were meeting in person. He is actually one of the leaders for 3 boys. So that's excellent. And then we have, I think, 5 or 6 leaders for our Trek and Journey. So we're in a good spot right now with the size of our club and where our club is, half virtually or 3/4 virtually and a quarter not. We're going to move on to one of the biggest questions that we have gotten so far in the last couple of weeks.
Are we coming back?
Are we coming back in person? It's Cubbies, Sparks, and TNT coming back in person. Well, the short answer is probably not. No. So this is one of the reasons why we wanted to do this video, and we wanted to answer this question. So we are probably not coming back in person for the rest of this year. And even though schools have started in person, and we know that, we are following the schools. Yep. We are constantly looking at the schools, talking to some teachers that we know who are in the schools and figuring out how they are doing it and how we could possibly do it. And so we absolutely want to be in person. We miss all of our Cubbies and Sparks and TNT. We miss seeing them in person. So we don't take this lightly. We absolutely do not. Unfortunately, there's a lot to consider for us to return in person because we are not a school. And so John will tell you some of the reasons that we have to take into consideration.
Yeah, so we have a few factors. One is our facility isn't set up for doing what we need to do to have our full club in person. Some of the classrooms are being used differently than they have been in the past. They have some more stuff in them. There's also just the size of our campus would be a little difficult. And even if we could, we don't have enough adult volunteers right now to make that happen with how we would have to split up our groups.
Yeah.
I don't know that we would have. We had quite a few kids last year. And even with that number of volunteers, we wouldn't be able to do in person right now. And then right now, honestly, the majority of our leaders would prefer to stay online in Sparks, TNT, and Cubbies, at least at the moment. So putting all that together, it's just not feasible right now for us to do club in person, even out until the end of the year.
Yeah. And like John said, because our facility is not a school, if your child goes to school right now in person, or you've seen pictures, you've seen that desks are all distant from each other. And we don't have that. We don't have desks. The way our club would normally run is to put kids at a table with each other. with maybe 4 other kids around a small table and a leader in the middle of those kids. And that's just not something that we can do right now, safely following guidelines, continuing following guidelines. And we want to respect families. We want to respect our leaders, and we want to respect the health and safety guidelines that have been put out. And we realize we don't know when this is going to end, but we do know that it's working really well online for us.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't, then I think that we would consider really pushing to go in person and figure out what we can do. But yeah, we only have, I think, 4 months left of Awana, and there's just a lot. There's a lot to consider. How we'd have to have separate entrances and separate exits, and way more volunteers to keep everyone safe and clean. And so it's all doable, but like John said, we just don't have the leaders right now to do that. So if you have questions about that, then keep them coming, because we would love questions about that, concerns, to chat about that, because like I said, we're all learning in this process. We're looking at schools and how they're doing things. This is just a decision that we think is right for our club right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got a few more questions that came in about some events that we have previously held in Awana.
Yeah. So a big one is our Grand Prix.
Hi, Ted and Lily.
And so we are going to do a Grand Prix. It'll be the last Saturday in March, which is March 27th. So a little different this year. It'll be on a Saturday rather than on a club night on a Wednesday. We're going to have 3 or 4 races. We're still figuring that out. But the idea is going to be that we're going to divide up our time, like into time slots for people to come and do races so that everyone can attend safely, distantly, and so we can still do that. As we get closer, we'll have a sign up with time slots. We'll send that out, and so it won't be the same, everyone crowded in the gym at once.
It'll be one full day of racing. You won't be there all day. It'll be one full day of racing to allow distance. Yeah. And so, oh, hey, Shanda. Hi, Shanda. Thanks for watching. Happy birthday. But it will look different, because in previous years we had Sparks racing Sparks and TNT racing TNT, and it may not look like that this year. We may just say, you may just be racing, the 3 other families who signed up at the same time as you.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay, because the Sparks cars are not necessarily age appropriate compared to a TNT car, right? Like, they're not, you don't need to race Sparks versus Sparks all the time. Yeah. So that's how it may look. And a couple of questions have come in about Cubbies. What will the Cubbies do for the Grand Prix? Now, Cubbies have not normally made a car and raced in the Grand Prix. They usually do a Hot Wheels race with Miss Debbie. And we do have that track. And so I'm going to meet with Miss Debbie and talk about how we can do that for the Cubbies. Maybe all of you Cubbies go out and get your own special Hot Wheels car. And we have a Hot Wheels track. And when it's your time to come, you race your car. So that's in our head. So we don't have a set details for that, but
they will be forthcoming.
Yeah, we will. We're thinking about Cubbies, and Trek and Journey normally help out in this event. I don't know how we're going to do that, because we want to limit the amount of people who are touching the cars and moving all about. So we'll see. I think there are ways that they could do it. I think there are ways that they can help.
Yeah. And then at the end of this month, for the awards pickup, we'll be selling cars, which will be $5 each. Mm-hmm. We'll figure out too in March a day to have clubbers come if you need help having someone cut your car. If you still have one from last year that you didn't use because this whole thing hit a year ago and we had sold everybody cars and then we had to cancel everything, you can still use that one. You just can't use a finished car
that won an award,
competed in a previous race. So
and won. Yeah.
So it still has to be either like you put it together, you were ready to go. You can still use that one, and we're on the honor system, so
right.
It's up to you.
All right, but we are excited that we're going to do that. So Grand Prix, end of March. You'll get to do it. So that will be fun. Okay, we have a couple more questions on just random things. So let's keep going. End of the year awards. We had some questions come in on what will the end of the year awards look like?
So we will be doing an in-person end of the year awards the last Wednesday in May. I don't remember the date.
I think it's the 26th. Ah!
Must be then. It'll be in our church sanctuary. And as that gets closer, we'll send out some information, but you can expect it's going to be same thing. Masks. We'll have people spread out. Our sanctuary is pretty big. And that will be for all clubbers, whether you finished a book or not. Everyone should come.
Yeah.
If you can, if you feel comfortable coming.
We'll probably be on Zoom also if this is where we are still at, to give you that opportunity.
Yeah.
So you don't feel like you need to come and be in the sanctuary, but John and I will make precautions.
Yep.
And maybe that means that when we call your kid's name, maybe they don't come up to take the award from us, or they definitely will be sitting with you if you've been at our awards before. The leaders usually parade the kids in and they sit with the leaders. And so that will be one of the changes. The kids will just sit with you. And more information will come out. We will make it a special award ceremony, despite, masks and sitting separate. And it will be special. It will be a special time. And so definitely mark that on your calendar. Come in person. Or watch on Zoom, but that will be it. Okay, May 26th in person, our very last award ceremony.
Yep.
All right, last question that we have got, unless, I don't see any other questions. Okay.
So what are we doing? Is we're moving. I don't know I think we sent out an email.
We did. If that's new to you.
We're moving to Hawaii.
We are moving to Hawaii the end of June.
And so what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we don't have a great answer yet.
Yeah.
We're working with our church elders to figure out someone or a couple to take over the ministry.
Yeah. Or the best possible way to keep it going.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so we're still working on that. And as soon as we have an answer, we're going to get you that answer.
With that said, if we're speaking to some leaders and asking if our leaders would continue next year. And this goes with you families, a lot of you have been with our Awana for quite a few years, and, maybe in the back of your mind, you're thinking, maybe I could help. So if you are thinking about, maybe I could help in a way in Awana, just shoot us an email. And that does not mean you're taking over. That just means I'm interested in helping. What could I do? Because I think that would help the elders to know that there are quite a few people who are interested in helping. And maybe it won't be such a daunting task for them to try to find someone in charge if they know that there are quite a few people who want to help. So, where that's the biggest prayer request, honestly. And if you all could, maybe add that to your prayer list, that God just takes over this ministry and finds a leader, if that's his will, or, just directs this ministry in the way that he wants it to be for next year. It's a fantastic ministry. We love it. We love all of you. We love our families. We love our leaders. And we truly think that it is a wonderful opportunity to disciple children and leaders. Honestly, we have been discipled. Our leaders have. So anyway, that's not really an answer to a question. We're sorry that we don't have that answer yet, but just know that we are working on it.
Yep.
The church is working on it. So it's not something that is going to be thrown on you in June, or even at the last, at the award ceremony that, all right, here's the answer. We're working on it, and we will continue to give you updates as we know them, as we find them.
Okay.
That's it. That is all the questions that came in. So if you have any questions about anything that we talked about, maybe it will come to you later.
Please email us, message us, text, phone call, not Twitter.
Yeah, we're not on that yet.
Not Instagram, Facebook. I don't know what else.
Yeah, I don't know. But we appreciate you watching this either live or on replay, just to find out the information, because it's important information. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.